Like, or just shut up.
Yeah.
I don't even know what y'all are talking about.
Yeah. Did you see that live go on though? I saw it. I saw it. See? She thinks she's slick, but I saw it.
Really? I mean,
Yeah,
I'm paying attention this time.
Karen, you saw that?
she
Yeah.
always catches me
Yeah.
slipping.
You told her you gotta pay more attention, man.
I tried. When I was paying attention, she wasn't doing anything. Then I thought she was still on the phone.
She was waiting for you to look away, and you gave her exactly what she was looking for.
All I need is that in. It's like double dutch. I'm just waiting to jump in.
Jump right in and start doing all the tricks.
Welcome to another episode of Whiskey, Wine, and Moonshine. I am one of your co-hosts, Miss Think Pretty Smart. We also have with us, who do we have with us? What's her name? Sojo? Another co-host?
Mm-hmm. The one who was caught slipping, Moonshine.
Exactly. And we are missing today Lady Buddha, who is unfortunately unavailable, but in her place, we have a double header. Karen from The Black Guy Who Tips and Leonard Brothers from, and I don't have it written down because that's how I roll, the Look and Listen podcast.
There you go. There you go.
Say
Shout out
hello
to
to the
Memory.
people. Karen, you go first since you're the lady. Say hello to the people.
Hi, everybody. How y'all doing out there?
I didn't download sound effects. I'm getting ready to go ham on the sound effects.
Okay. LB, what you got to say to the people?
Nothing much. What's going on, everybody? How's everybody doing out there?
I'm going to speak for the people and say that they're pretty much all right. Anything exciting going on with you guys?
Karen?
I was about to say, as far as me, everything is good. We just recorded the podcast That Blood off of True Blood, and
Horrible show.
I don't watch the show. Roderick and Justin Trucks do the show. They can keep all that.
I feel like the Black Guy Who Tips audience trolled y'all into doing the recaps for that. It's like some sort of weird punishment.
Yeah, Roger has a completionist gene. I don't have it. Like, I will opt out and in of shit in a heartbeat. I'll be like, all right, I'm out, and I would just go take a nap, go play a game. Like, I just randomly start cooking or cleaning. Like, I just walk away. I was like, when I'm checked out, I've checked out. And I used to watch it with him, but I was like, I can't take no more.
Yeah,
It
no.
sounds like he would have been watching it anyway, so he might as well talk about it on the show. I don't watch the show, and I'm glad that I don't, because from all accounts, it's fucking terrible.
But it's funny to recap. Like, it's funny to hear the recaps.
Yeah, the recaps are funny because it's so much angst. You can tell, you can hear these people dying a little bit inside.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I definitely respect those brothers for being able to truck through it, man. You know what I
They
mean?
sound disgusted with themselves.
They really do. Like, Rod, I noticed, like, the last couple weeks, it's like he's kind of stalling before the episodes get started. He did the bullet ball thing last week, and then there was another discussion before things got started tonight or whatever, and I was like, this nigga's just trying to prolong it. You know what I mean?
Oh, that is absolutely true. Well, before we get started, let me just say today's podcast is brought to you by Audible.com. Get a free Audible book download and 30-day free trial at audibletrial.com/whiskey wine moon. Over 150,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player. Before we get into the main show, I do want to just touch on some feedback that we got. Feel free to leave us feedback, whether it is on YouTube, Stitcher, Podomatic, iTunes. You know, let's do the 5-star review. You guys have really been slipping on that, and honestly, I expect more from you guys. You were raised way better than that. So I'm going to need you to get into that.
You just shamed.
Listen, this is what I do. I offer shame. You know, it's stocked in my heart. I will give it out whenever I need to.
I approve of your message. I approve of your message. That's right. They were raised better.
Right.
So I do want to read this one particular Facebook feedback that we have. It's based on a question we asked on episode 61, where we talked about fulfilling and living the life you want. So Lady Buddha suggested a key question: how do you want to feel? whatever might be good, bad, or ugly in your life right now, how do you want to feel? And we asked that people hit us with their personal responses, and we actually got a response in the last day or so from Chrissy Langford. So I'm going to read that and maybe discuss a little bit of that, and also encourage people who are listening to go to our Twitter or Facebook page and answer that question, how do you want to feel? Chrissy Langford writes, I am late and just listened to this episode today. I needed to hear it too. I've been feeling sad and down based on a few different circumstances, heartbreak and confusion being one. I know I want to feel happy and free from any bitterness. I want to feel at peace with myself and get rid of that empty feeling. I too lately have been in survival mode of just getting to tomorrow, and I am doing it to avoid how I'm feeling right now. After listening, I realized that you need to face how you feel in the moment in order to move forward, or else you are just pushing the feeling deep down, never solving the issue. Anyway, thank you all for all you shared and the episode. It helped me to just stop and reflect. So you guys, what are your thoughts on what she wrote? Have you ever felt that way, and how do you want to feel now? Anyone?
I'll let one of them go first, and then I'll come back. It's always ladies first, so.
Yes.
Go ahead, Karen.
I think for me, yes, I felt like that in my life, and what I've realized is that, like she said, we live in a society, when it comes to feelings and emotion, especially when it comes to social media, people act like other people are human beings. You're not supposed to feel. You're not supposed to be angry, sad, depressed. Like, these emotions don't exist at all. And I think a lot of times people kind of want to shut that part of themselves off. What I've realized, it's okay to feel. The feelings are okay. What do you do with those feelings will tell more about your character than anything. And I think that sometimes you have to be taught how to deal with your emotions. And this is something that a lot of parents don't teach children, because the parents themselves don't know how to deal with emotions. And what I've also learned is that what she said was true. If you don't address things and you bury them, eventually it will come up again. And when it comes up again, it's going to be twice as strong, because it lay dormant for a very long period of time. And a lot of times it causes more problems and more issues versus if you would have addressed it then. Because whatever feelings you've had, you've allowed time to pass, and you've allowed those feelings to get stronger. And also what I realized too is that for a lot of people aren't happy in their lives because they live their lives for other people. I think that stems from how a lot of people feel. Instead of doing what they want to do and living their lives to what makes them happy, they're following career paths that somebody else said they had to do. They married somebody that somebody else said they had to marry. They had children because this is what you're supposed to do, or bought a house, or got in this unnecessary debt. And a lot of times you wake up one day and realize this is not where you really want it to be. And I think a lot of times people have a fear of the change, or the fear of being happy, because it takes a lot of courage if you reach to your 30s and your 40s and you realize, hey, I fucked up, I got to change now. That's a very scary process, because a lot of times that means moving, that means quitting jobs, that means making these other decisions, that might mean a divorce, that, all these life-altering decisions. And I think a lot of times people don't want to face the reality of, in order for you to get happy, changes have got to be made. And if you're not willing to look within yourself to make these changes, a lot of people will never be happy in their lives.
I definitely agree with all of that. And what she said, that survival mode struggle, that's real.
Right.
Because when you are operating in survival mode, you aren't monitoring your day-to-day emotions, and it's easy to continue to go day after day after day and bury it. And just like Karen said, it's going to come up and out in some way. Even if you don't have an emotional breakdown, you'll have physical issues, stuff. You'll start attracting other different negative experiences. And like when I first read her comment, I teared up a little bit, because I remember when I was in that place. And nobody really knew it, even my closest friends, because I'm always the happy, hey, what's up, emoji, smiley, whatever. And I was in a bad place, but I had to stop and admit first that I was there, and then try to figure out how to work my way out of it. So I definitely, felt everything that she wrote. And we said we were going to do a follow-up episode to you guys telling us how you want to feel, and then us as a podcast community working through how do we get to how we want to feel. So, I'm glad for everybody sharing their story. So definitely, Christy, thank you for leaving that feedback.
LB, do you have any thoughts on what she wrote?
Yeah, I definitely agree with what both of these ladies said. I would also add on that I think, if you live life long enough, then you'll probably have situations like this. Like, maybe not to whatever. It might not be, I don't know what her situation is, but, obviously we have things at different levels, but, highs and lows come, you know what I'm saying? And I think like Karen said earlier, it really depends on how you handle stuff, you know what I'm saying, and who your support system is. I didn't really watch much of the ESPYs the other night, but I saw Stuart Scott's speech. That's the one thing that I did watch. And he mentioned his battle with cancer, and he talked about, he made a point about like, if you're in this type of position, whether it's cancer or something like what this young lady is dealing with, or any other type of thing, like sometimes you got to allow other people to be strong for you. You know what I mean? Like sometimes it's okay for you to take a step back and say, I'm tired today, man. I just can't do it today. That doesn't mean that you've given up on your fight or that you have given up on whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish, but it's just saying like, look, I need a little support, man. And he talked about the fact that he's got like family members and friends that he can call on if he just needs to cry or if he needs to get something off his chest. So whatever this young lady is going through, hopefully she's got people like that in her life, ways to kind of get things out and work through the process of it or whatever. The survival mode thing is real. Like when I think of survival mode, I think of a person who is kind of almost like what we call rock bottom, who is willing to do whatever it takes in order to make ends meet or to, accomplish whatever they need to accomplish. So you might kind of step outside of your normal stuff. Like in my normal life, I might not do certain things, you know what I'm saying? But if I'm in survival mode, then shit, I gotta eat. I gotta take care of whatever. So, hopefully she'll be able to get through it. Maybe this email and the types of responses that we get, or other people that are listening to this will be able to give her, will help out, man. You know what I'm saying? It all counts, you know what I'm saying? So, good luck to her.
Okay, good. One thing that I did forget to do is touch base and see what we're drinking. So, Miss Karen, what are you drinking, or are you drinking at all?
I am drinking. It's kind of hid down here. I am drinking. I got me some pineapple, orange juice with some black cherry whiskey.
Oh, good God. Wait, did we give you a name yet? I know we got LB as the cognac. Did we give you a beverage name?
I don't think so.
What do you have a name for yourself? Do you know one, or do we need to come up with one for you?
I'll probably need to come up with one. I'm not that.
We're going to have to think on it. We're going to have to think on that. So, because LB is the cognac, so we'll have to.
Y'all fuck with that Kraken, right? Isn't the Kraken a spiced rum?
Yeah, the Kraken is a spice rum. This is that Jim Beam blackberry.
Maybe she could be the rum or something. I don't know.
What about Southern Comfort?
I like that. I think that's a liquor too. I need to try that.
No, we don't want to know.
I had a bad experience with it. So
I did too. Oh my God! Like no.
I'm about to say y'all hit me to that. I don't know.
Everybody had the same reaction because it's Southern Comfort. You're not thinking that it's going to knock you out the way that it does. It's worse than moonshine. It's worse than moonshine.
Only drink it in your house when Rod is sober. That's
hilarious.
Right.
Oh, is that serious? My bad.
Right.
Yeah, we got that in college one time. When I was in college, we tried to get something different, other than the Hennessy or E&J or whatever, normal, nigga shit that we was drinking. And so we was like, yo, let's try some Southern Comfort. And me and none of the boys had never had it before. And we drunk it, and every one of us got sick. I don't know what it was about it, but all of us got sick. It's sweet. And sweet liquor doesn't really
deceiving.
Right? Yeah, every time I see Southern Comfort, it's like that movie theater that I was talking about on Facebook and Twitter the other day. Like I just shake my head. You know what I mean?
I didn't have any until a couple of years ago. This is when I first got my Instagram. So I made this pretty little Instagram picture of, I'm getting ready to drink some Southern Comfort, and I got sick. so sick the next day. It was like a 2-day sickness. I took the picture off Instagram. Like, I didn't even want
No more so cold for Sojo. She was like, fuck that.
I was like, oh my God.
Get to try now.
But I still like that name for you, Karen, because, I mean, it goes with everything, like your personality. I mean, like, just, you know, because I think about, like, the first time I was in the chat, like, I was like, she's so sweet.
Yeah. That is a smooth nickname for her, man. If she'll accept that one, that is pretty fly.
Oh, yeah, I'm down with that.
All right, so we got Southern Comfort. Cognac over there, what you got?
Man, I have a Yingling, and product placement. I'm sipping it out of the Black Guy Who Tips glass.
I love it. Hold on, where are the special
I got mine too.
Let me drink it down a little bit more so you can see the logo.
You know what? Hey, time for the product placement.
Go.
Hey, Karen, tell people where they can get that cup.
Oh, you can get this cup. Go to our Cafe Press, the Black Guy Who Tips. Go to cafepress.com and type in the Black Guy Who Tips, and you also can get you a Black Guy Who Tips cup. And I like my cup. This is where we do our
Is that frosted?
Hmm?
Is that frosted or is that a clear glass?
Oh, this is a clear glass. It's probably because of the ice and stuff.
Okay.
But this is the glasses we use to do our Nagasaki bombs in. I love
Oh,
those.
shoot.
Nagasaki bombs is good. Get you some.
Yeah, those are good loot, man.
I think a lot of people frown because they just hear what it's made of, but it is basically sake and eggnog. And you
some sake over here. I don't have any eggnog. I might need to.
So when the time changes, right when it get cold, we get us some eggnog. We fill it up with eggnog, and we take a little shot of sake and drop it in there and drink it. Oh, it is delicious. It has a sweet taste to it. I think a lot of people just think it might curdle. It doesn't. It has a sweet taste to it, and it is delicious.
Yeah, every day. When did y'all invent that? Like 2-3 years ago?
Yeah.
Since that time, when that eggnog goes on sale, I start bombing over Baghdad.
Nagasaki. Okay, I get it now.
We do, and we go tear the sake up. We be like, ooh, and now we even got to the place where we done got snobbish. We get the high brand sake. We be like,
Oh my goodness, Sojo, what are you drinking? I'm gonna write that down for the winter. But
For real.
Eggnog, can you freeze it?
I heard some people make ice cubes.
Okay.
Oh, you can make ice cubes?
Yeah, just put the eggnog like in an ice cube tray and make it like that. Somebody did that. I don't know how it tasted later on, but
I'm gonna check that. I'll check that out this winter and report back.
Cool.
So I have some Pinot Grigio from the Cupcake Vineyards, and that's the only reason I bought this bottle was because it said Cupcake Vineyards. So I thought, but it's nice. It's cool. I'm good. Oh, and I have my water, which is infused with lime and mint.
Hey.
No alcohol?
That's the one, the cupcake wine.
Okay, because sometimes
That's not water. That's vodka.
right, exactly. Because sometimes you have stuff and then you put stuff in it. So let's just be honest here.
You didn't have to make that face when you said it, like you know my life. Like
I do know your life.
You kind of do, yeah, right. You kind of
So
do.
I'm drinking a white wine. It is from the Bassignani Vineyard. It is their Riesling, which I've probably said many times here before. It tastes exactly unicorn tears and dental work. Like it's
Dental?
so
How does it taste like dental work?
Yes, because it's so sweet. You're like, is this Kool-Aid? Like, is there a pound of sugar in this? But it's so good. It speaks to the Negro palate, and I'm here for it.
I thought you kind
Threw me off with the dental work. I was like fluoride, like baking soda, like
Oh, it tastes like a lot of cavities and root canals are coming your way.
oh Lord.
I
Yeah.
thought she was trying to say it tastes like that toothpaste that they use to clean your teeth with.
No.
Yeah, when they start.
Let me go ahead and read some of these comments that the people are giving us. So Hustle says, hey. He says, damn it, why I got to keep watching that damn video. I don't know what video he's talking about. Maybe the trailer.
Which was Queen Pen. A party ain't a party.
That's
through. So that goes hard. Yeah, yeah.
And Jeffrey said, why does Sojo have a halo over her head? LOL, it's so cute. Well, she has a halo over her head because that's how the devil tricks you.
No, whoa.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they talk bad about Jesus, too. That's what my grandma told me.
And that's what a rap song tells me, and it bumps. That song kind of bumps. Let's see, what else? I don't understand why Hustle is telling Jeffrey this, but he says, Jeff, you got to be a jerk sometime, homie, regardless of what they say. Something about women liking it.
No, what he's not going to do is corrupt Jeffrey and turn him into
Just because you know how to act on me.
Hustle is saying all of that, but in that Black Guy Who Tips chat room, he has another persona going on.
Oh, whoa! Oh, what? Wait, hold on. Hold on.
He's over there.
Leonard, tell us what's going on.
Yeah, Leonard, tell him. Tell him your observation of the scene.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. I just see a man making an offer to a lady to hold his hand in e-matrimony from time to time. I suppose there's nothing wrong with that, but, you know.
Well, I suppose for a lady not named Miss Smart, that's a great offer. But I am more of a substantial. Huh?
For a lady named Miss Smart, what kind
Not
of offer?
Not named Miss Smart. It's a reasonable offer, but for someone who is named Miss Smart, not really what she's going for.
Wait, he's still talking about, I see where he's talking about you got to embrace the jerk. He is really trying to
sell his jerk. Yeah, he's trying to sell it, but we're not buying it. We're not buying what you're selling.
You know why we're not buying it? Because Hustle left a comment on when I shared this on Google Plus asking about the time because he wanted to be punctual. So see, real jerks don't care about being punctual. They just gonna fall through when they fall through. So we're not buying the Hustle.
That's actually true. Jeffrey, I'm sorry I'm not reading these in order, but they don't come up in order on our end. Jeffrey says, I'd rather be a girl lady lover than a girl lady hater and disrespectful to women. And I, Jeffrey Jeff Hale, is not a girl lady hater. Look at you making your mom and them proud.
That's right.
Third person. That's when you know you're doing your shit, man, when you go third person.
Be a lady
wear sunglasses indoors.
Real.
Then we have another one. Hey, what happened to Lady Buddha? I hope she's okay and comes back next week. Well, at least two of the co-hosts of Whiskey, Wine, and Moonshine are here, including Karen from Black Guy Who Tips and Leonard Brothers from Look and Listen. Yeah, so y'all know Lady Buddha in them hotels. Some things happen. Yeah, so she's not here, but she will be back.
But she might call in via Skype, so we might have a little appearance from her a little bit later on. We're not sure yet.
Right.
Y'all have sullied her name.
We haven't sullied the name. Let me see. No Hustle. It doesn't say it on our side, but we know who you are.
No, what you got to do is go to your About page on your profile and change it. Because it's got to change all the way around. He was talking about his name. Yeah.
And he also offered a drink name, a Hypnobomb, Philitol, shot glass with Hypnotic and 151. Drop that in a glass of Red Bull, then bucket. You'll be cooked. Yeah, see, that sounds like liver disease.
That sounds like death.
Yo.
That's not death.
As a person who has gone hard with the drinking shit, that 151 is crazy, man. Y'all be careful with that. I know. I've had it before. My boys in college used to drink Everclear with Gatorade. Don't ask me why we did this shit, but we did it.
You did it so we don't have to.
Right.
Yeah, did that. So hopefully you don't have to go through that. But yeah, it's tough, man. It's pretty tough.
Yeah, anything over 100, I'm good.
We don't want to die. I'm old now. My liver needs to recover from my 20s. I'm not trying. No.
Exactly.
You drink moonshine a lot. You drink like an old black man.
Yeah, she does. She does. So
in the Coke 45, in a
can, y'all. In a can.
Look, don't hate. The Coke 45 goes hard. It really does. And besides that, everybody was talking about moonshine a few years ago, but I noticed that it's becoming trendy. So I do suspect that Coke 45 is going to come back in style soon. I'm a trendsetter. Don't hate.
I'm gonna see Billy D. Williams if it does.
I'll be the new.
Oh my God, I told y'all that's so funny.
What product placement? I will get a sponsorship from Code 45. Just wait. Just wait. I'm making money to this bitch.
Right. You know what? And I don't want to even drink it. I just buy a can and hold it up in here just because. Don't let them
Vaccine knives
Yes.
and rap commercials.
So I do want to kind of move on just a little bit. I have a couple personal things to say. Some of the people who read or know me from home know that my stepbrother was in a horrible accident. I actually just got a call. I'm waiting on my mom to text me. He was getting his face done. So thank you to everyone who asked about that. And he is in good spirits. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing him soon, and hopefully he'll be walking. He'll be able to learn to walk and everything soon. So that's
in your family.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Cheers to him. So we had asked our guests to bring some articles to talk about, and I know we did that, and we're expecting to run late since we have guests. There is something that we've talked about in our little WhatsApp group, and I know that Rod and Karen have talked about it on their show, and it is this guy who did a spreadsheet about him not getting the marital bliss that he expected from his wife. And so I know that you guys have talked about it there, but I want to sort of take a different stance on it based on some other information that I read recently, and I will shortly put the link in the chat for the people. But basically, there is research now that says that women actually lose interest in sex quicker than their partners. And because of that, I'm thinking that maybe she just lost interest in it. It also says that women they may lose interest, but they may not seek cheating because they don't want to hurt someone's feelings. So it's very possible that this woman simply lost interest in sex with her husband.
You mean sex with her husband or sex, period? What did that say?
Sex with her husband. It was boring. So, okay, I'll read from you. But now the evidence is beginning to trickle in, and one sticky fact has shown this entire theory into jeopardy. It's women and not men who get bored with monogamy faster. As Daniel Bergner writes in the New York Times, women are far more likely to lose interest in sex with their partners. This doesn't necessarily translate into infidelity, a choice many reject because it's so hurtful, but Bergner reports spouse-weary women often just avoid sex altogether.
I could see some truth in that. I can see women being more likely to stay faithful after they've lost that attraction to their husband, as opposed to men just simply going out and find something new. Like a woman will throw herself into her hobbies or the children or, whatever. I think, but I do, that's why I side-eyed you at first, because I don't think the sex drive goes down. Because if you look at like that 50 Shades of Grey thing where all those desperate housewives started like masturbating to,
You got a good little voice on that?
I did, because I don't know if my mama gonna listen. But when all the women started getting all hot in the pants about that book, the desire is still there, but you're right. Maybe it's just not for their mate. So I could see some truth to that.
And I guess for me, my personal opinion, a lot of it has to be the way society oppresses women in their sexuality, which is something people don't want to address. Mm-hmm. Society has taught women that you're not supposed to like sex, you're not supposed to enjoy it at all. Your body isn't for sex. Your body is just to be there for your mate, to have sex, to bear children. Like, that's the whole purpose of your being, is to be there. And like, for some people, that's how they put sex. So a lot of women have never been taught to explore. You have grown women who've never masturbated, never touched themselves, never used a sex toy. And then a lot of society also, and let's just keep this, if a man loves you, he's willing to go the extra mile. But also society has taught men in general, get mine first. Why do I have to waste time trying to meet your needs? Why should I take the time out to satisfy you? And there are a lot of women who aren't satisfied. Like they don't have orgasms, they don't enjoy the act itself. A lot of men have sex with their mates and don't even ask the woman what she wants to do. He just comes in and be like, well, this is what we're doing. And for a lot of women, it comes people, okay, you're hitting it from the front, okay, you're hitting it from the back, okay, you tap me on my shoulder, okay, I throw my leg up in the air. It becomes a routine for some people. It's nothing exciting in this shit at all. And she's like, okay, you about to come, all right, let me go fix your sandwich or whatever. So it's nothing hard going. Yeah, he got the nut, but in her mind, she's like, shit, motherfucker, I could have been watching Scandal. Why did you waste my time?
That is
So the next time she's like, no, and I blew up the spreadsheet and started noticing the stuff she said. Like it seems like she deliberately didn't bathe, cause she kept talking about I feel gross, I'm sweaty. Like she wasn't even.
But you know what that makes me wonder? Did she really like sex with him when they first started out?
Right, and also I think too for a lot of times, a lot of women when it comes to sex, they don't speak up vocally. Mm-hmm. And truth be told, a lot of men, society has taught men, even if the man doesn't know anything about sex, that you're supposed to just come in and know. Just like women have to learn about sex, men have to learn about sex too. So it's a lot of added pressure on the male to come in and just automatically know how to satisfy you.
And different women like different things.
Right. Different women like different things. Different women are designed different. Different women are made differently. And it's just one of those things where, as a woman, if you come in and you already know that your favorite position is such and such, you already know you like to be smacked on the ass, you like to be choked, you already know this, and you start branching out into something that he might not feel comfortable with. You know, people don't talk about that either. You know, everybody think that the men's are the freak. It's freaking women too. And so you start talking about bring a toy. Oh, what you got a toy for? My dick ain't good enough. And you like, nigga, that's a party starter. What is we talking about here?
The party just ran off the roof.
What you talking about here? This is to get it warmed up. This is, you know, when you really think about it. This
engines.
Yeah, what people fail to realize, there's nothing like the flesh. People fail to realize that. The toys are okay. The double D's, you know, you plug it in the wall, start your engines. You know, I got all kinds of toys like that. But at the end of the day, it doesn't replace the flesh. So a lot of men are intimidated with women who are comfortable and understand their sexuality. And if the woman comes in and be like, look, this is what I want you to do because this is what satisfies me. A lot of dudes can't handle that, and it takes a real man, let's be the truth, to be able to handle that. And what people fail to realize, if that woman is happy, it benefits the man, which means when you stop, she'll go, okay, let's go again because she's satisfied. Mm-hmm. You know, I don't think people miss the point. A lot of dudes just want to get theirs and don't really consider that, you know what, if you do it right, in that morning, she'll think about you all day. Then you come home, she want to suck your dick, you know, and all kinds of stuff going because she's excited about you satisfying her. Versus if that drive ain't there and you ain't doing nothing to make her wet, she ain't thinking twice about you. She be like, I'm not washing my ass today because I don't want you to touch me.
You're right.
Karen just delivered a word. Karen just delivered a word.
Church, tabernacle, synagogue. And so what say you, Leonard Brothers?
I agree with everything she said. I don't have anything else to add on to it. I just want to point out that she said all that with that southern accent of hers. How about that?
I understand it.
Right.
Don't get up because it's some game. And also, Karen, tell them about that Adam and Eve. Code TBGWT. All them toys and chainsaw she was talking about.
Yes, honey. Yes, honey. But just for those that know, for those who haven't heard my voice before, go to adamandeve.com and use the code TBGWT and you get 50% off any item, 3 free DVDs, and a special gift. I don't even know what it is. It varies. I want you guys to know you can get lube, you know, in case something happen, you know, we can get lube, you know, we can get condoms, you know, 50% off, so you can have twice as much sex for half the price.
50% off your fucking. How about that?
Right.
Come on, somebody.
No, this is benefiting everybody. You know that you know you can carry some in your pocketbook, in your back pocket. You know you have one on top of the bookshelf. Wherever you think you about to get down, you can just whip it out. Because you're like, okay, we ain't got the control.
You can be at your job, hit a button, and make your wife come at the house.
They do have those things that you think I'm joking
That's a remote starter, just like for your car.
I am dying.
So we've learned a lot from that.
Hey, listen, wait, but Karen's whole sermon was brought to you by AdamandEve.com.
Right, exactly.
that needs to be the commercial.
Right. Hell yeah.
We gonna clip that and send it to Rod.
Absolutely.
Adam and Eve would be happy. They'd be like, yes, go ahead.
Well, I do want to add that they are coming up with a drug called Librido, which is in clinical trials now, for women to restore quote unquote desire for their husbands. One other thing that was in the article, and I'll read directly from it, says, notice the identifying a lack of sexual excitement as a societal ailment, not a biological one, reduces the sense of fatedness around the issue. When people believed that boredom with monogamy was a male trait for women to endure, interest in fixing it was pretty low. Now that we understand boredom with monogamy is a female trait for men to endure, it's suddenly a problem with possible solutions. Though frustrating, this is ultimately probably a good thing since most of us want to be monogamous. It's about time we took seriously the need to keep it interesting. So now that it is men who are like scared because their women may like stop screwing them or there's a scientific reason why,
right.
Now we need a drug to fix that.
That's why I put my finger up, because I was like, why is it a problem now? But you just answered that because it's a female thing.
The solution is not something that can be put in a bottle though. Like
Right.
I mean, if you have problems with arousal or something like that, like physically getting aroused or something like that, then there's, things at a sex shop or maybe something like that will work. But if your thing is that you just have lost interest in the person that you lay in bed with every night, then that's something deeper than taking a pill or a drink. You know what I'm saying? That might not ever be able to be repaired, or if it is, it's something that's going to take like, a lot of conversations between the two of y'all, like figuring out like all the things that Karen talked about, like, what I'm saying, as far as like, well, I like this, I like that, or whatever. That's how you fix that shit, man. You don't fix that by taking a pill every 4 hours or something like that. You know what I'm saying? You don't fix your marriage like that, man. People try to find, quick ways to do it. We want to microwave our meals. We don't want to cook shit. You know what I mean? Like, get in the kitchen and do the work it takes to prepare the meal and everything, man. So if you gotta fix your relationship, then put in the work to fix that shit, man. Like,
and
it was weird because you're talking about, like, I mean, I understand for women, especially as we get older, vaginal dryness really is a medical issue for a lot of women. So I could see a pill for that, but I don't see how you can have a pill to make you desire a person. Like, that's...
Well, that links into the, I can't put it in the chat room for everybody to see, but that links into the actual scientific study, because they did some things about, physical stimulation and reaction to stimuli that has nothing to do with the individual. So there's some other stuff going on here, but the point being is that even with that, women seem to respond less to that stimuli quicker than men do.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you get used to it and then you don't respond.
And just for the link that she's talking about that she put in the chat, we'll add that to our page when we post the podcast if y'all want to read that.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I think for me too, also there's something that's also not addressed in marriage is that a lot of the responsibility of children, especially if you have children, all falls on that woman. And a lot of the responsibility of the woman being there and her job is to wait on the man hand and foot. Like, this is kind of traditional marriage, and her job is to, be there, and I come home, my clothes need to be washed and all this type of stuff. I think when a lot of people walk into marriages, they have these preconceived notions on how they think a marriage is. And I think that society has tricked people into these false thought processes. And honestly, truth be told, a lot of people aren't with the right person, honestly. Like, you married or you're having sex with somebody that you should not be with and you're not attracted to them. It was infatuation. They turned you on temporarily. It was exciting at the time. And then that shit faded. And that's something that people don't want to talk about either. And also, people don't want to talk about it too. Women get tired. I don't know why people think that women aren't supposed to ever get tired, get exhausted. And one thing is this, and I've realized this over time, just talking to women in general. A lot of men are like, well, what can I do? You know what turns a woman on? Putting the kids to bed. You know what turns a woman on? Helping kids with homework. You know what turns a woman on? Cooking dinner. You know what turns a woman on? Helping to do things around the house. Now, if you do those things and you help that woman, her pussy will get wet. Why? Because you are assisting her so that she now has the energy to give you what you need. But if you're looking at her to do everything and she's basically got up, went to work just like you did, come home, take care of the kids, wash them, bathe them, put them to bed, she's technically worked a 15 to 16-hour day. She's exhausted. Lay down, and then you won't turn around and put your hands on her ass and but I want some. She's looking at you like, nigga, you better get away from me. I've worked all day. What have you done?
Yeah, fellas, man. And this is a married woman. Like, one thing I always try to do, I know a lot of women. I have a lot of women in my family and stuff like that. So, I always try to listen to the things that they say about themselves. You know what I mean? And I think that, everybody can do whatever they want to do. But for me, when I hear stuff like that from somebody who's in that situation, I take note of that. So everything that she just said, I'm trying to absorb that, because I sort of already thought like that anyway, but sometimes you need confirmation of the things that you already feel like you know what I'm saying? So fellas, soak that in, man. Apply it as needed or whatever, whenever necessary. But if you want that type of situation, a relationship with a wife and family and stuff like that, this is a woman who's in that spot. She doesn't have kids, but that doesn't mean she doesn't know about it. You know what I mean?
And don't ever say you're babysitting your kids.
Right. You can't babysit your own kids.
Don't.
You don't babysit your own children, man.
No, they're yours. And the thing is that sometimes I think also it's a deeper issue. People take their mates for granted. And that's something else people don't want to talk about. They just always assume that their mate is always going to be there and they're always going to do these things, and they never get, and males and females on both sides. And also, it's, because we're kind of focusing on the females, so that's kind of why I'm on, talking about that side. But also, it's just one of those things, too, where sometimes women can get to the point where they push men away, because we live in a society also that thinks that men's sex drive is always on 10. That's not true either. Men's sex drive ain't always on 10. They get tired, they get headaches, they get exhausted also, and sometimes a woman's sex drive could be higher than a man's sex drive. That's something people don't want to talk about either. It's one of them, well, he tired and she wants to keep on going. That's the imbalance there, and so after a while she's like, well, you can't satisfy me, and it becomes a turn off for her also. Mm-hmm. And also, if her sex drive is higher, there are alternatives, but because a lot of men have ego issues about these alternatives, it becomes problems if her sex drive is higher than yours.
Oh, you didn't just deliver the word in a package with a pretty bow on it.
Seriously.
Another thing I like to add though is as far as men, people don't really consider our feelings. You know what I'm saying? Like, we express our feelings and we actually feel things differently than women do.
Yes.
But sometimes a man needs a way to get stuff off his chest too. Mm-hmm. So whether it be a sexual situation like we've been talking about, or if it's something like, he's having a rough day or a rough period, like that young lady that wrote in that email. There's probably some fellas out there too who are going through a similar type of situation, but for whatever reason they didn't write an email about it. Wow. So, people don't consider that side. They don't allow, it's like people have, constraints for what they think a woman should act like, think, feel, do. And they have, a different set of things for how they think a man should be. Mm-hmm. Sometimes, people are people, man. We all got emotions. We all have all kinds of shit within us. We express it differently based sometimes on our gender, because, the way that I see the world is different than the way that you three see it. We might be looking at the same thing, but I'm thinking with a man's mind, and more specifically my own mind, and y'all see it with your own minds or whatever. But at the end of the day, we all have things that make us emotional. We all have things that are sensitive to us. We all have things, from our childhood, our past, or whatever like that. Motherfuckers are dealing with a lot of shit out here, man. And if you can do something to get the stress off your own shoulders or the shoulders of a person that you love and care for, you got to do it, man, because it can make things better for you. If not, that shit'll kill you, man.
Well, I will say this. I want to point to something earlier we were talking about in the comment the listener left. I want to go back to something that was said on Two Guys, One Show by Wisdom is Misery. He said, strength isn't the absence of emotion.
Right.
And so I think a lot of times, I'll say that again, strength is not the absence of emotion. And I know in our community, we do so much to be strong this, strong that, and pretend that things don't affect us. And I know going through the situation with my stepbrother, who I will say my mother did text, and she said she got a call that he has no nerve damage and his nasals appear to be okay, but they have to put a plate in his face to get everything back in order. But that was I have an uncle in particular who's only 4 years older than me, who that was the first time I knew of him ever crying, because he's strong.
Yeah, and one thing, I'm sorry to cut you off if you got something you want to say. I was just gonna add that, like, I've seen like sayings, memes or whatever that say something about like, man, the one of the problems with being strong is that nobody asks you how you're doing.
Right.
Probably takes the time to find out how the strong person is doing. You know what I'm saying? And there was a video that I watched a while ago. It's called "The Black Woman is Earth," I think, and it talks about the differences between strength and resilience. And they talk about how a lot of times, our black women have been placed in positions where they have to be strong. For example, single mothers and things like that. So she's got to take on more masculine qualities in order to compensate for a person that's not there on a consistent basis. You know what I mean? And that strength, and they had a diagram of two different trees. One was a big, tall, like redwood looking type tree, and the other one was a small palm tree. And the point that they were trying to make is that, the strong tree, when a storm comes, it gets damaged, but you don't see the damage to it. It's all happening internally or whatever. But that resilient smaller tree is able to go with the flow. So if y'all are looking on camera, you see my hand moving, the wave, the wind is blowing, you can kind of go with the flow or whatever. So you got to find a balance between those two things, man. But the strong people need help too. You know what I'm saying? So a person like Smart's uncle, who hadn't, you never seen him cry before or whatever, it might have taken something as extreme as this situation. And shout out to your brother. Hopefully he'll be all right. But, sometimes, like, we all had that breaking point, man.
Right. And it's okay to have, a lot of times, and, you talked about Smart, how that was the first time that's surely not the first time that your uncle has felt strong emotion.
Right.
But that's the first time when it got to the point where it overflowed. And I think that, and it was acceptable. And I think that a lot of times we need to let our men know that it doesn't have to be a situation that's tragic before they're able to do that, because they take on so much on those shoulders. Men have broad shoulders, but we forget that they get so heavy sometimes, and we're used to, putting on facades like we're strong, or the strength doesn't even have to be like that, strong, mean kind of strength, but it could be a happy strength. You know what I'm saying? People who are, like I was saying, the situation about when I was in survival mode, but I was smiling all the time. Happiness a lot of times can be a mask,
yes,
for something that's going on the inside. So sometimes, like LB was saying, with those strong people, with those happy people, sometimes you got to say, are you all right, or what can I do, or is everything okay? Because everybody can use a helping hand.
And that goes a long way too. Like, even if the person doesn't sit there and explain to you exactly what's going on with them, sometimes if you just ask a person, hey, how you doing, man? And you really mean it, like, you're not just saying it like, yo, what up? And but like, if you be like, yo, Miss Small, how you doing today? That just asking her that question might do something for her. You might not see it or get a response to it or whatever. You might not ever know about it, but that might mean the world to somebody, especially on a particular day. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And I think too, I mean, there was I don't know whether it was like a rapper or something I remember hearing or reading that said that for men, the only time it's acceptable to cry is like if a homie dies, and I forgot what the other thing was, but it always struck me as so like crazy, like, I don't know, and we've talked about this many times on the show, that I don't have that feeling of I've got to be strong. Like, I don't have that in any way, but I do watch people, and this situation in particular has shown me that not only is it, some people see strength as absence of emotion, but subterfuge. Like, instead of dealing with emotions that I'm having in this situation, I'm going to start talking about that time back in 1982 when he was supposed to pick me up. And he, like, you know, like that's another tool that people use to deal with emotion. And I think we'd all be better served if we encourage the people around us, our children and whatnot, to experience emotion and deal with it then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Teaching our children to deal with emotion at a young age in a healthy manner is extremely important. And like what was it, you or Christy or somebody said that the parents don't know how to do it, so they don't know how to teach the kids to do it.
I think it was Karen who said that.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I can speak from experience. Like, it's a lot of things that as I began to get older and as I began to reflect on my life, I learned how to deal with things now that I wish that if I had the maturity now that I had years ago, how I would have made different decisions, interacted with people differently, not dealt with some people at all, just that awareness. Because like growing up in the household where emotions, I can't say it. My mama, I love her, but she's very old school. It was that I'd be like, "Mama, I love you," and you would get, like that was her way, almost
Yeah.
almost like an old black man. That was her way of saying I love you. She didn't physically say it. She just assumed that you understood. You know, old school. If you had a roof, if you had clothes, if you had food, that is sufficient.
Mm-hmm.
And it was no trying to deal with the emotional part of you. It was no trying to deal with all the things that come with growing up and dealing with your emotions and dealing with men and how to interact with them. I'm just talking from a female perspective. I didn't have any of that. So as far as dealing with your emotions, I dealt with a lot of things the wrong way because children deal with things the way children know how to do, and I guarantee you they're 100% immature and not handled properly. That's why you have a lot of young people shooting and killing and stabbing and fighting and cutting up because they don't know how to deal with the emotions, and the only way they know how to deal with them is how a child deals with emotions.
Yep, that is the truth.
Yeah, I fully agree with that. Like I said earlier, I didn't mean for this to go on so long, but we did open up the door for you guys, our guests, to bring anything that you guys wanted to discuss, because this is sort of like a hodgepodge show this afternoon. I'm sorry, this evening, because some of us, and by us I mean the ladies of Whiskey, Wine, and Moonshine, didn't really come up with any topics this last week, so here we are.
Hostess.
They invited us to their house to say, "You clean the motherfucker."
It's a round table. But you know what's funny is that I think our chemistry is so good. Like with the chemistry, like Karen, even just from the very first time that you came on, you know, like we had a theme planned and we just went left. Like we didn't even go on the thing, and it was the greatest episode ever. And then LB, whenever you come on, like we'll get to talking. Like when we first started having you on for the American Horror Story, we'll be talking about American Horror Story and start talking about something else. I mean, we really don't need a, like a theme because we just talk. The chemistry is cool.
Yeah, I mean, and just on the normal shows that you all do with Sojo Smart and Buddha, it's the same thing, and I think that's what people that draws people to the show, because y'all know, like when I first started hearing y'all talk about American Horror Story, I wasn't even watching the show at the time, but I was so interested in hearing what you all had to say about it and how you could take the themes and the situations that happened on that show as sort of the start of a conversation that would also relate to what people go through in normal life. That was the fly thing about that. And then,
but you didn't watch Orange Is the New Black.
I had no interest in that show.
I had to call you out about that.
LB, there are boobs like in the first scene. I don't know if that'll help you, but
right. I mean, there's a lot of lesbianism.
But Smart, I'm gonna counter that with something that you said last week about somebody having some horrible titties.
See,
but like I think Rod said yesterday though, like on the Black Guy Who Tips, like man, I've seen horrible titties. We've all said, but we gonna look at them motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? Like pretty much anybody that's not a relative and over the age of 21 years old, I'm gonna look at your titties, but you know, they're not all made the same.
Well, we did say that every episode there is a boob shot. So I mean, but
and that was, to be fair, that is the first really bad boob shot, and it wasn't really the bad boob; it was a bad areola shot.
I was not.
Yeah.
See, I wasn't
exactly
even
what you
watching.
said. You said something about her areola, and I was. You said it looked like it was abused or something like that.
It did.
I never even. I don't even remember. Maybe I blocked it out. I don't even remember seeing them until all of a sudden Buddha in our little WhatsApp message group was like, "Why are her titties like this?" And I'm like, "Really? It's 11 o'clock at night, and that's what you."
when I listened to the show last week, that was, you know, I always live tweet the quotables from y'all show, Rod and Karen show, and some of the other ones, and that was definitely one of them. So if y'all search the hashtag, I think that whatever Smart said about this lady's areola was something that I mentioned.
You also quoted me when I said nipple shaming, because that's what the two of them did.
Yeah, she was nipple shaming, man. I was like, man, you know, she's over there just looking down on this lady's nipples.
Because, and you know, this is a great time for a public service announcement. Ladies, sometimes you have to sleep in a sports bra. That's just the way it goes. Okay? That's just what life handed you.
Ladies, sometimes you...
But she wasn't asleep. She was post-coitus.
But if she had slept in a sports bra in her formative years, if she had a praying grandmama who told her that...
Oh, Lord.
We wouldn't have these areolas all stretched to be down.
That's not going to help the areola. That might help the, I don't even know what you call the cuppage. I'm even doing the hand movements. I'm like, the cuppage.
I feel like gravity had pulled everything down, spread her areolas out, and made it look like two sunny side eggs posted on a flat board. And people avoided that.
I feel like John Mayer's Gravity, whatever that song was.
Oh, my.
Not sunny side eggs though. Damn.
See, we're just all off in a world that we don't need to.
Let me read some comments to bring us back to.
Yes, we need.
So, Hustle said the young bloods say drink a cold Billy. Yes, with regard to Coke 45, I've heard that as well. Yeah. Jeffrey's asking, should he listen to Hustle Crow, because I think he's trying to get me in trouble.
No.
Hustle Crow is trying to get you in trouble. Don't.
No. Jeffrey, no. Say no to Hustle Crow.
Right. Say no to Hustle Crow.
Say no to Hustle Crow. Damn.
Hustle also believes that the wife of the couple, that she was sweaty because she was getting it in with like one of the trainers at the gym, and then he also said one of those excuses was, I'm still tender from yesterday. He just jackrabbiting that joint. Her in the Melvin. I don't know what the Melvin is, but I can't. If you haven't smashed it.
Oh, I know what he's talking about.
I thought that when she said I'm still tender from yesterday, I was like, why did you do it like that if you knew this she hadn't done it in a while?
I think Hustle put this in the chat. You know, tell me if I'm right or wrong. I think the Melvin is that move from the movie Baby Boy, where he had her.
Oh my God, I didn't think about that.
He had her legs wrapped around him, and he was jumping around. He called her the African nigga squat. And he was jumping around the old nigga squat. He was pissed. Hustle, let me know if I'm right about that, bruh. He was giving her the old nigga squat.
Hey.
You know what I mean? So if you haven't seen Baby Boy, that's...
You gotta see that scene, yes, with AJ Johnson and what's his name? Bing Rain.
I also want to say hello to Justin. I think it's his first time here. And there was somebody, and I'm sorry, I lost the comment, from Brazil. Hey, internationally. Sorry about that, I lost your comment. Hustle also pointed out that Karen is spitting hot fire. Yeah, she was spitting. Like I said, she delivered a word, and then
she came off a 5 o'clock podcast with a black guy who tips and smoothly transitioned into evening service.
That's how Southern Comfort does, baby. That's how Southern Comfort does.
That's what she do. She go from service to service.
Look, she had like a smooth 20-minute break in between podcasts, man. That's why they get paid for this shit, man. That's why they got
Sunday service, and then we had Sunday school. We had 11 o'clock service.
Bible study.
The pastor preached pretty good, and after that, we had evening service, and the usher board had another program that I had to attend to.
Chicken dinners in the church kitchen area.
The place of $5.50.
Yeah, see that.
I have somebody in the chat room who has never seen Baby Boy, and Jeffrey, honestly, I feel like you need to see that. Like, as soon as you get over here, you need to see Baby Boy 3 times. Get it in your spirit, because it is the best, worst movie that you will watch in a very long time.
He has to see Boys in the Hood if he hasn't seen Boys in the Hood, and then to see how what's his name went from Boys in the Hood to Baby Boy.
Matter of fact, Jeffrey, you also need to watch Shottas. Shottas. Find that motherfucker. And Belly too.
No. We gonna start Jeffrey off.
Look, we gonna have him. But by the time he watches all
turn him into a gangster. That's what's getting ready to happen. By the time he watches
all these movies, he's gonna be telling Hustle what to do.
Right.
Like, no, nigga, this is what you gotta do, son. This is how you handle this.
He gonna be kicking down girls' doors. I want to see my son.
Jeffrey, watch the Mac too. The Mac.
You gonna have him walking around in clear goldfish.
Yep. Hey. Change his name to Goldie. I'm not Jeffrey no more, baby. It's Goldie.
Oh Lord! Did he gonna flip himself?
Oh my God! Did y'all just see what he did? No. If you're just listening to this, please come to, I don't even know what, like.
Oh, you talking about Leonard? Yeah.
Mark and see the blessing that Leonard Brothers has just given us in visual. I need that in a gift. Karen, can you make that a gift? I didn't
that he just did. That only a light-skinned man can.
Only a light-skinned man.
He put all of his light-skinned powers together for that.
Listen.
They united.
All praises due to Al B. Shore and the DeBarge family. Through them, all this is possible.
Anyway, like I said, do you guys have any other pressing topics that you guys want to discuss? Try to rein y'all Negroes in.
I'm saving my props for my cheers. Since you didn't bring it up, I'm saving my props for my cheers.
Okay. Our guests? Nothing? Nothing?
I don't have any articles.
Well, I do want to touch on something else, and I think this is close to at least 3 of our hearts. These horrible, horrible rumors of our generation's Ossie and Ruby D splitting up. That's right. I'm talking about J&B.
My coworker asked me if I thought that was true, and if you understood who my coworker is, you would understand that that means that rumor has gotten mainstream.
No, but wait a second. Before we delve deep into this conversation, because I know that's where we're going, she said this is our generation's Ossie Davis and Ruby D.
Well, you had to take your glasses off and rub your eyes for that.
We just gonna let her slide that one across the table.
You didn't. Hold up. But you didn't, because you took your glasses off and rubbed your eyes like, no, I need to make sure.
They have the potential. They have the potential, Leonard Brothers. They're gonna pick up where Whitney and Bobby left off. When Whitney and Bobby failed us, J and B are supposed to do us right.
You got to think about it. This younger generation, who are they going to look up to as a couple role models? So when you think about it,
okay,
when they get to be old, they are going to be our generation's Ossie and Ruby D.
Well,
and you can make that face if you want to. You look stressed. But
let me grab my black guy who tips glass and sit.
Yeah, you look distressed.
Carry on, ladies. I don't really have much to say about this one, so y'all go ahead and handle that, man.
Well, Winnie and Nelson couldn't make it. Bobby and Whitney couldn't make it. Hell, what's her name? Jessica Simpson and her dude couldn't make it.
Really? You put Jessica and Nick Lachey?
Yes. I'm multiracial with mine. I love them. I love me some Jessica Simpson, and I love me some Nick Lachey, and they couldn't make it.
Somebody tweeted, and I saw the tweet when it went out, and then I saw it again this morning by the time it had 1,000 retweets. If Beyonce could keep an entire album under wraps for a whole year and a half, do you really think that her marital issues would be on blast the way that they are? Judging how
That's a good question.
Secretive they are do you really think their marital stuff is going to be on blast? So
Yeah, look, what we don't know is what Solange is doing, because she could have put it out there.
right, Solange is like, I can't stand that nigga still. I know I told everybody in the public we made up.
Put him up, put him up, put him up, put him up, put him up.
That's how she was in the elevator.
She's ready to throw hands. See, that's another visual that y'all had to see. She's ready to throw hands with somebody, man, whether it be family, friend. She's like Jay-Z, actually. Jay-Z had a song called Friend or Foe. He wants to know what it is, man. Solange, that's her game. She's like, friend or foe, yo, state your biz.
She did go out like Scrappy Doo in that elevator, though.
Right. Yeah.
And my thing is this, what's so funny is that I'm looking at y'all like, they going on one of the highest grossing tours of all times.
Together.
Which means they with each other all the time. And I'm like you, if they were getting divorced, everybody would have a gag order. The gag order would have a gag order. Wouldn't nobody be saying nothing. In fact, you wouldn't even know they got divorced. They would just be separate.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll be like, y'all ain't hanging together. Like, no, we got divorced about a year and a half ago. You be like, damn, didn't nobody tell me? I still see y'all together.
They probably been divorced the whole goddamn time.
Right, the same way they've been married. Like,
Right.
I mean, think about it. We didn't even see pictures from their wedding until they decided to show it to us in the concert.
Right.
So,
Yeah. Like I didn't even know Jay-Z was with her until like I saw her in the video, him in one of her videos one day, and it was like that's his lady. I was like, oh, okay. You know what I'm saying? Like they just keep their shit private, man, which is I think what you should do, you know what I mean, especially in that type of position, man, because if not, like I remember Smart mentioned what was it, Nick Lachey and Jessica Simpson.
Mm-hmm.
They had a TV show. I don't know if that was necessarily the downfall of their shit, but
It's everybody's downfall.
right. The theme of it though is, you know what I'm saying, and relating it to regular people, like when you invite too many people into your shit, then you know you open it up for a lot of people's opinions, a lot of people's bullshit and all that kind of stuff. You know, we'll take it to another level. Like Karen is on this show. We know she does the podcast with her husband. I've been listening to them for about 3 years. I follow them both on Twitter. I'm Facebook friends with both of them. I don't really know a lot of the details of their relationship.
I still don't know what they eat for breakfast, lunch,
You know
and
what I mean?
dinner.
Yeah.
Even though Karen
I
does.
don't know if they had a fight. I don't know none of that.
What hot fire she cooked for Rod. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I don't know none of that.
Like, I
But
don't know.
Kind of.
that's the beauty of it, though, that we don't know that shit.
So I gotta gotta slap them up sometimes, keep them
I
going.
do believe that though. I really do believe that, like, cause you know, Rob, like it's the black guy who tips, but I really feel like it's the black woman who you know holds this shit together. Like I feel like if you cut your eye at Rob be like, when she leave, I'm gonna be talking again. Like, I really do believe that.
Oh man,
I really do believe.
dang.
I am real sweet, y'all. I promise.
No.
That's funny.
But no, we love you too, and really, I think that's part of it. Is we love you too because we don't know every damn thing that's going on with y'all. You know what I'm saying? We love the black guy who tips, not like Rod and Karen's breakfast, lunch, and dinner interlude. You know, like.
I had an argument with Rod. Let me tell you what this nigga said. No, we don't know that shit. We don't know. We know that y'all are people and that situations happen sometimes or whatever. But the fact that there is a barrier between that part of your life and what you do share, I think says a lot about it. So talking about Jay-Z and Beyonce, the fact that they have whatever walls they put up and keep their shit private as they can be and who they are, which is actually amazing in these days and times. Like,
Yeah.
her music, but I remember like when I saw that she had that album come out and I saw people, I was like, not that I would have been paying attention anyway, but you know, the fact that everybody was like, yo, she kept this shit a secret the whole time. Like, so if she can keep an album from coming out like that, you know you're not gonna find out what's going on with her. So yeah.
And I think that's what makes people thirst more for the details of their relationship, because when something comes out, then it's like you're hungry for it. Like, I mean, it's the same thing like when their concert, when they had the videos of Blue, or when they had like the wedding, snapshot or whatever, it was like people were happy for that because they weren't bombarded with it, like say a Kim Kardashian Kanye nuptial. It's just like when LB, when you did the interview with Rod and Karen, and we found out the backstory about the I love you too, baby. Mwah. Like I was like, oh my God, that's the best thing ever. Like that was beautiful, you know, just to find out that little moment, because it was like this couple who has this empire gives us a snapshot into their world. We don't need to know everything, but that snapshot was just enough.
That's one of the things that I wanted to touch on when I had them on. I wanted to find, these were things that I was curious about, but you know, the things that I asked them and then some of the things that they just told me in their responses were the type of stuff that I was looking for, some of the behind the scenes things of how they put their show together and all that. And it was the same thing when I had you ladies on the show. I wanted to find out things, and hopefully I did a good enough job of being able to present that information. But for a person to have the type of moment that Sojo just mentioned about hearing about Rod and Karen's story, or, you know, maybe somebody had a similar moment when they heard about how you ladies came together and so on. So, yeah.
And also,
I will say this, undersharing limits entitlement. The more you share, the more people feel like they have a right to know. So even in our show, like, you know, people know that Lady Buddha just got engaged, but they didn't know necessarily that she was dating anybody. They don't know whether Sojo and I are married, single, straight, gay. They don't, you know, none of that information. So then there isn't that entitlement, like, let me dig because you owe it to me to tell me what happened with that argument you had with your significant other last week.
Or give commentary about whatever is going on, positive or negative. You know, it's you know.
And that goes for friends, family, fans, person on the street, whoever it is. Like, you know, that was a great comment, and I just quoted that on Twitter. WWPod.
I want to just stop a little bit here and read some of these comments. Let's see. Yep, you want it. There were two quotes from Essence. You want the Melvin and But Did You Die? That's from Hustle Crow, of course. And Hustle also adds, I don't speak on J&B. Significant Other is the ultimate fan. We went to the Baltimore show and going to the LA show. Did the same thing last year. I don't have that type of paper. I spend on sneakers. Well, obviously, Hustle, you need to reorganize your priorities because they are incorrect.
Sneaker
the out there aren't that expensive anymore because the shows aren't selling out, actually, because I was going to go a couple of weeks ago when I was out of town, but transportation. So y'all can still go.
They're going to be in like maybe not the greatest seats, if you know, or
even the numbers were still going down. That was what was interesting about looking at those tickets.
Saying his significant other is going, his ass ain't going.
He got her the tickets.
He
gotta buy sneakers, man. He got his priorities in order.
No, he doesn't. The rumor is out there. I heard it on White Sports Radio today. It's real, so that is more from Hustle Crow. Hustle is king commenter tonight.
Yeah.
He wanted to be punctual because he had stuff to say.
Right. He says to Jeffrey, Jeff, listen to your boy. I won't steer you wrong. You can't be a jerk all the time. Shoot for 15% of the time. You know what? See, Jeff, we going to see a different Jeff in a year. We going to see Jeff molded by Hustle Crow. I don't know if that's a good or bad thing. I don't know.
Crow, little hustle.
So he also said, and I'm not reading all of them because all of them may not be as relevant, but TBGWT is the reason I'm here. I put someone onto the show on the plane back from NOLA. Bama saw my tablet and the title of the podcast and was interested. I'm sure he's listening at this point. Well, good for you. Look at you being a street team.
That's what's up, man.
Can I say something? I
want to add one thing, too. He also mentioned that the show with Rod, Bo, and Stacy was the business. He's talking about that Look and Listen podcast, Morning Jones 101 episode. I appreciate that comment, man.
Thank you for addressing that.
Can I say something? I saw somebody in the airport listening to the Black Guy Who Tips. I saw the logo on the thing, and I looked and I smiled and I did like a little head nod, and they were listening and we made eye contact, but I was like, oh shit, like somebody I don't even whatever listen to the show. Yeah.
Oh, I feel special.
Yep, coming up, big pimpin', huge Massive, major pimping. So since you guys didn't have any topics, the last thing I want to touch upon is what I find to be one of the most American things that I have seen in a long time. Some geniuses decided to combine two of America's favorite things, and that would be the Red Lobster cheddar biscuit and the Chick-fil-A chicken.
Ooh, yes, ma'am.
And yes, I just want to, I know this is not our cheers, but I do want to shout out that group of people because I may or may not be going through the Chick-fil-A drive-thru tomorrow and then doing a curbside pickup at the Red Lobster.
Wait. They combined them, so the two stores? I mean, they're the two
stores. They went to two restaurants. They got the biscuits. They got the chicken. They opened sliced the biscuit, put the chicken inside of the cheddar biscuit.
Shut up.
My genius.
Shut up.
Yeah, that right there is right up my fat girl alley. Yes, ma'am. I am all about that.
Yo, because
that's Illuminati.
A friend of mine actually had a theory. I think it was my homegirl Cassandra. But she had a theory one time that the thing about the Chick-fil-A sandwiches that makes them so unique, like, because it's the same piece of chicken basically, like the same one that you get in the morning for breakfast is the same one on a regular sandwich. But she was like, the difference is the bread. The bread makes all the difference in the world. So if you put it on that bagel or something or biscuit in the morning and get it on that buttered bread with the little pickle on the bottom of the regular sandwich, and that's a whole nother ball game.
Completely different sandwich.
Whoever did that probably came on to something. I saw a lot of pictures about that earlier. I thought, I figured that it was somebody who just went to both places, but
I have a cookbook of people's secret recipes, and the Chick-fil-A chicken is one of those recipes, but I just have not been able to perfect it yet. But I will say it's something that I'm working on.
It's like marinated in pickle juice.
I tried that because that is part of the little secret recipe, but it's something else. So yeah, I'm working on it because I'm gonna get that chicken biscuit.
I don't know what it is though.
Truett Kathy is not going. I'm gonna get it.
Well, I may or may not. I can't do tomorrow because I'm going to have Ethiopian food, and that injera is pretty heavy. But I am going to look for research purposes, honestly. I don't really want it. It's just research.
She's a scientist.
Do it for the people.
Right.
So y'all don't have to.
Right. Smart did that, so hopefully you don't have to go through that.
Right. Exactly. And I'll probably only take like 2 bites, but I just felt like this is the America I know and love.
And when you go through, you gotta like say something like, "I'm doing this for the people." Like you gotta tweet that.
Right.
Yeah, when I pull it together. So at this point, I think we're gonna start to wrap it up because Mama's tired, and I gotta take this bright ass green eyeshadow. It was a whole thing.
Which is lovely. By the way. Your pink and green, your pink lips and your green eyeshadow.
Oh.
I feel like I'm giving like
That means next week you gotta wear some crimson and green.
I know, right? Yeah. I feel like I'm giving. Are you done?
I'm just saying. Soror.
You should too. Since you want to be the Delta calling out Deltas.
Okay, Petty Patty, or AKA Patricia, or should I call you Trish? Chill. Anyway, so we're going to start winding it down. So I do want to give our guests the opportunity first to tell us where we can find them and plug anything that they feel the people would like to know about.
Yes. You can find everything about me at theblackoutwhotips.com. It is a show that me and my husband do 5 days a week. And the motto of our show is, there's nothing wrong if it's funny. So if you are easily offended, we are not the show for you. If you want things politically correct, we are not the show for you. We joke about any and everything underneath the sun, and we probably offend a lot of people, but hence the motto. And also, for those of you that don't know, we do premium shows. So if you wanted to sign up for that, you can sign up for that on the website. And you can follow me on Twitter. My name is Say That Again. Dat is in D-A-T. You can follow my husband on Twitter. His handle is at Rodimus Prime. And shout out to him. I love him. And just so you guys know, he was like, "Hey, I want to be on y'all show too, so y'all
Yes.
Oh, we already talked about that. Listen, we were gonna ask him on, but we thought with him doing that blood, that doing 2 shows back to back on a Tuesday would be too much until you and Leonard were going back in the chat. So we were like, well, shoot. So
And
tell him we got a Charlie's Angels episode already planned.
Right,
Already
and Lady Buddha wanted to be here, so she's kind of like put the kibosh on that. Was like, oh no, because I'm not gonna be here.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
And I can't wait because he really enjoys you guys. So that should be a lot of fun. And you know, I fight with Leonard, but I also fight with Roger because Roger was just on Nick and Reggie's show, What's the Tea? And I was like, hey, if he get a solo show, I get a solo show. I be getting
right. We already got the theme music, the Charlie's Angels theme music. We ready.
That's gonna be so sweet. That is. That is.
We already got a topic, so we good. Tell him we got it.
I sure will. And he probably can't wait either. But and shout out to Leonard Brothers. Leonard Brothers know I do love him. When we went to Raleigh, he was the chauffeur driver, especially for me, because I didn't know how to get out the back seat. So he had to get me in and out of the car. So shout out to him, and just so you know, I do we do consider Leonard a friend. We talk about Leonard a lot. I know we do. We were like, oh, Leonard, that's that cool light skinned brother. He racist.
Racist as hell. Yeah.
Yeah, man. I'm glad that my skin pigment hasn't gotten in the way of me being a cool person.
Translucent motherfucker.
Oh Lord. Where did that come from?
I don't know. Leonard looks sincerely hurt. Like what happened just now?
That got good. She snorted.
All right, Sojo. All right. That shit came from her soul, didn't it, y'all? She been saving that one.
I was trying to get as racist as you. I'm sorry.
Look,
that was my guess to race. That was
she
my
had-
guess to race, and I was trying to like channel my inner.
She had the drink in her hand and shit, and she balled her face up. Translucent motherfucker. All that was missing was a cigarette hanging out your mouth. All right, though. That is all right.
Leonard, what are your closing words? Where can we find you?
Well, I am translucent motherfucker. You can find me on Twitter at LBrothersMedia. LBrothersMedia.com is the website. Podcast is the Look and Listen podcast. That the show's Twitter is at Look Listen Pod. And that's pretty much it, man. I'd like to thank Miss Smart and Karen for being a part of this. Thank you for allowing me to be on the show, Smart. And I'd like to say hello to Lady Buddha. Hopefully she's enjoying her trip.
Look at all light skin.
On this show by, ironically, the person with the halo over her head, but we see how she acts.
That's how the devil does. I told you in the show.
It is the God in me.
So that's pretty much it. That's where y'all can find me, man. I had a great time. I'm happy that Karen and I got a chance to do the show together. And
I thought it was gonna be like North versus South, the Civil War. Like I was
Biggie versus
fire, some like bayonets. Like I was.
nah. I mean, but that wouldn't work out too well for the South because they lost that war anyway. So.
Right. And
wow.
And you know what? I ain't gonna lie. I like being free, so I'm glad y'all won.
Right. Exactly.
Hey, I ain't even mad at you on that one, brother.
Oh my goodness.
See, Sojo, man, she over there just trying to start all kind of shit, man. Civil War.
Actually, look, this cupcake Pinot Grigio. Look at how much is left at this point. So, yeah, that's why I'm
had to try that.
Yeah, they have a whole line of various wines from the Cupcake Vineyard or the Cupcake whatever brand.
Well, let me ask a silly question. Does it taste like cupcakes, or is that just the name of the company?
No, it tastes like regular Pinot Grigio, but it's good. It's good. I'm enjoying it.
So, yeah, those are my shout-outs, man.
Sojo, where can we find you?
You can find me on my Twitter, which is at SojoXOXO. That's at SOJOXOXO. And my website is www.feminyin.com. That's FEMINYIN.com. I also have a Facebook page by the same name, so y'all can find me there. Excellent. Oh, can I do some cheers?
Well, I'm going to do mine, then we're going to get
Okay. Because I hope they coincide. Okay.
So, I am think pretty smart, but before I say my stuff, I do want to give a shout out to Lady Buddha. If you are looking for her and would like to encourage her to stay out of hotels and get on camera, Indy Collier on the Twitter, so hit her up there and tell her how much you missed her and how much of a slacker she is for not being here. You can reach me on Twitter at think_P_smart. I do have a website which I have transitioned over to a new host, so I just need to import some posts which I will start reposting. Don't Petty Patty, here she is. I will repost some things that I've done in the past starting the middle of August, giving myself a reasonable amount of time. You can also follow the show on @WhiskeyWineMoon at the Twitter. We're also on the interwebs, which you are, I'm sure, familiar with. We're on whiskeywineandmoonshine.com. We are also on Stitcher, Podomatic, TuneIn Radio, and other places. If you Google us, you'll find us. So do you guys, our guests, do you guys want to give cheers to anyone in particular?
Before we do that, podcast listeners, when it comes to Miss Smart's site, I want y'all to tweet her and say when you gonna get that site. That's what I want you to do. That's what I want.
Wait. Let me just tell y'all how Sojo is so full of bovine feces.
I like that. Bovine feces.
A thriving site. I'm talking like 100 or more comments on one post each day.
Yes. That's what we want. That's what the people want.
And then I became an adult with a real job.
That's what the people want. Y'all, I used to leave my job. Let me not say that on air.
Some people used to leave their jobs.
Some people who had jobs used to leave their jobs because the firewall was blocking the site, would leave their jobs, go home and comment on lunch, and then go back to their jobs. I'm just saying. Miss Smart just needs to get it cracking again. So there's peer pressure. Peer pressure and homeowner association fees.
Anyway, and who you guys would like to give any cheers to?
Go ahead, Karen.
I would like to give cheers to my husband. I would also like to give cheers to the Black Guy Who Tips family who's coming over here to listen to y'all for the first time, or either they're already fans and be like, oh shit, she on the show too. So for those of you that are new, come over here and stay over here. These ladies are wonderful, funny, insightful, highly educated, and you will enjoy the ride. I promise you. It is well worth to stay, guys. And I'd like to give a shout out again to Leonard Brothers.
Look at that. Look at that South-North love.
Yes.
Yeah,
I want to shout out.
Shout out to Karen and Rod, Black Guy Who Tips. They are the podcast that brought so many of us into this game as fans and also as hosts of our own shows. They definitely were an inspiration to me to bring that into what I do. I'm a filmmaker, but I wanted to get into podcasting in part because of, the great community aspect that they have and that they bring to the table. So definitely a big shout out to them. Shout out to Whiskey, Wine, and Moonshine for, having me on the show now for my, I believe, 5th time. So ladies, it's definitely been great. I got to figure out some topics that I can bring you all back on for in the future or whatever, as a collective and maybe as individuals or whatever. And
Beard Balm.
Back on. What?
Beard Balm.
Okay. All right. So I'd like to give a shout out to Wine and Whiskey.
Oh my gosh! Really? Remember you said that.
Look and Listen podcast. Got some new stuff coming up. And then I want to give a big shout out. I'll be doing a solo episode pretty soon. I want to thank everybody who checked out that Morning Jones episode. Got a lot of feedback. In the show notes of that episode that I'm gonna do, there was a guy that sent me a link to a Dropbox folder that he has of some old episodes of the Morning Jones, and I'll put that in the show notes when I do that episode. So for the folks that listen to that show, you'll get a chance to hear it again, and for the folks that never heard it before, then you'll get a chance to hear it, and then you'll see what we were talking about. So that's pretty much it, man. Shout out to Buddha and Smart.
Wow. Okay. All right.
You want to go ahead, and I'll finish up.
I thought one of your topics was going to be about a recent concert you attended. So,
into that.
So, I actually, Smart, was it this weekend?
Yes, this past weekend.
Smart attended the New Edition concert, and so she had an awesome time. And so, I actually have some original albums of New Edition, and so I saved my cheers to basically say cheers to old school R&B, because wait a minute, this is the very first album. This is the very first New Edition album. And I actually, my cousins and I, with this album, we signed our names by the dudes we liked, and so I had put my name by Ralph, which I signed. I was in the 3rd grade, but I put Hot Lips because that was my nickname I gave myself, was Hot Lips. I don't know why. But then also Michael Bivins.
Mark, make that the title of this episode.
So maybe I was a fast tail girl. But I wanted to give a shout out to Smart because she had such a good time. And so the cheers I wanted to say was just for old school R&B, because I feel like the kids don't have that anymore. Something that we could listen to at 8 years old and go 30 years later and jamming at a concert with the same dudes who actually successfully transitioned from child singers to adult content and never skipped a beat. Like, that's something that we don't have anymore. So that was what my cheers were for. But Smart, that was for you. When I was looking at it, I was like, damn it, let me show Smart this shit. So, yeah.
I want to piggyback on that, too, because New Edition was just here in Raleigh, and my homegirl Cassandra and her little cousin got a chance to go to the show. Michael Bivins got them tickets to go to the show, and they actually got a chance to meet the band. So she's got pictures and all that kind of stuff of when they met all of the members of New Edition. And also, Biv put out a picture, one of the pictures that he took with them, saying, shout out to all the folks in Raleigh and all that kind of stuff. So I saw that this morning. She was, of course, still on cloud 9 about that. So New Edition, man, yeah.
So sweet. Oh, did Bobby make it? Last time.
I think Bobby was out this week.
Yeah, he was. My left side. So I was just wondering.
Bobby was not there, but I do want to shout out. I had a similar experience. Leonard Brothers with the whole backstage, and I got my T-shirt.
Yes.
I got a poster, and I got a picture with them. And we were on the 2nd row, which was totally awesome.
Details. Like, I wanted details.
Well, okay, so Salt and Pepper opened the show, and we didn't see all of them because we were down doing the stuff with New Edition, but they were really good. New Edition, when I tell y'all, so when I took the picture, I was thinking, oh my God, they're so petite. But then when I saw the show, I was thinking, they're burning like 7,000 calories.
Right. Because they put on a good show. That's the thing that I don't think people understand. They move. Like, they jam.
I saw them at concert in 2007, and they were rocking, man. We had a great time.
Yeah, I've seen them when they come to Atlanta, Essence. I mean, y'all, if you ever get a chance to see New Edition, go. Like, it's just everything. From childhood to adulthood, your whole life is in that concert.
The other thing I want to point out is I've been at other concerts really close. Shout out to my girl Jay in London for getting me up front, and Jay-Z. But these guys, from the backstage to on stage, look like they were happy to be there. Like, oh yeah, like really enjoying it. Not like, damn, why do I have to sing If It Isn't Love again? They look like, this is my jam. I'm about to get
still looking like the video.
Yes. And everybody there was so happy. Like there were some young ladies around us. I think somebody was having like a 40-something birthday party, and so like we're sitting like literally in the middle, and so they're like, yeah, everybody who's 40 and older, and we were like, and the whole crowd around us like, and my mother was like, I would have enjoyed that. And I'm like, I don't understand. You better go see Blue Magic or somebody like that.
You better get on that Tom Join the Morning Crew.
That was the cool thing about the concert that I went to a few years ago. Like when I went to go see them, you know, I was, you know, what, like 27, and there were people that were younger than us, they were older than us, black, white. You know, it was a great mix of people that were there to see New Edition, and everybody was rocking. Like when I tell you the place was jamming, it was probably just like what you just saw at that show, and that was a cool thing for me to see, like, because it was kids there, you know, teenagers or whatever, you know, that they didn't grow up on New Edition and stuff like that. You knew all of the words and all that kind of stuff, man. So it was a great experience, man. And I know you had fun. I know my friend had fun when she got the chance to see him and then getting a chance to meet him. So that's pretty dope, man.
And that's about their content.
I said, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Karen.
I said I might have to go because you sound like that was a good time.
Oh, Karen,
you never seen him before, Karen?
That's the thing. You have to go. Like that was my very first concert that I ever went to as a kid, and that I remember, like it was the Bobby Brown New Edition. I mean, Albie Shore tour. So that was my first concert.
Yes.
And then I remember, you know, like going as an adult. You see that their lyrics like Cool It Now and Mr. Telephone Man and, you know, all that stuff that was clean and cookie cutter. Then you get into BBD, Smack It Up, Flip It, Rub It Down, and you're like, oh shit, I went from a kid to a, you know, like an adult in a concert, you know, like, and then Bobby is there and Johnny is there. I mean, it's just, it's amazing. And
they're
like Smart said, they look happy to be there. They don't look beat down, broke, tired. I mean, they look like they are still performing for the crowd, just like they did when Ralph had his clear braces, his little see-through braces that everybody started to get after that point.
And let me just also add another thing. Like I've seen a lot, because you know I love me some good Motown, so I have been the youngest person in the whole arena at some of those concerts, and these guys still can sing. Even from the best singer in the group to the worst singer. And when I tell you that Johnny Gill's voice sounds like butter on hot bread, listen.
Yes, I love me some Johnny Gill.
Yes. So Karen, you got to go. You got to go.
Yeah.
I put on that red dress.
Yeah.
High heels.
And when his whole jaw attaches from his face and just like opens up like an alien, yeah, you know.
Yeah. If I'm not mistaken, I think that they were actually just out in your area too, Karen, because the show that my friend was trying to go to before the Raleigh show was actually in Charlotte. So next time you hear about them coming to Charlotte or anywhere close to y'all, definitely go check them out.
LB, you have pull. Like you were the one who tweeted Bivens.
Yeah.
So we gonna put LB in charge of getting the black guy who tips. Next time they come out, that's what we gonna do. That's your task.
And that ended up, you know, snowballing into them getting a chance. She couldn't go to the Charlotte show. That she missed it, I guess, because Biv actually followed her back on Twitter, and then I think that night he DM'd her to, you know, confirm about the show, but she didn't get the message in time, so she couldn't make it out there. But they were able to work it out to where, you know, they were able to get tickets to go to the Raleigh show, which was I believe it was last week or the weekend or something like that, like late last.
It was a couple days before.
Something about them, but you know what? That says something about them as a group. And shout out to Mike Bivens and putting together Boys to Men, ABC, BBD, the East Coast Family. But shout out to him for doing that and still being so accessible via Twitter. Like, you know, you would think that somebody wouldn't even respond to a tweet, let alone follow up and do all the stuff that he did. And to be freaking new, I mean, like, you know, shout out to them for real.
They're one of the rare that has actually been able, like you all said, to be able to make the transition from starting out as, well, they were like teenagers, I won't say kids, but starting out from, you know, young teens to now, I guess, like in their mid to late 40s or whatever, and their music has grown, but it never seemed like they were just old cats trying to, you know, stick with the young man's game or whatever. Like, so
Hot Lips. That's why Hot Lips gives them a shout out. Hot Lips. Mwah.
Hot Lips.
Maybe
I don't know
I'll.
why I was Hot Lips in 3rd grade. Don't ask me. I
Well,
don't
that's
know.
because you were a fast tail girl. So maybe I'll post some pictures on my Instagram account. But they're going, I think they're, I guess, in Missouri right now. Then they're going to Detroit, which while it is dangerous, Karen, y'all probably could get $8 tickets to fly to Detroit. And then
I feel like Detroit needs the black guy who tips. I feel like there's a story to be told in Detroit with the black guy who tips.
You go there.
Imagine Rod telling a story about like his experience with like please, I need the black guy who tips.
I got it, but if y'all do go to Detroit, talk to me because you got to get your mind right. The rental car, you want to get the worst rental car on the lot if you're going to drive because the airport is far. If you're driving into Detroit proper, you want the worst rental car possible, and you want to stay right near the concert venue because, yeah. But they're going to Cincinnati, Ohio, also dangerous. Hammond, Indiana, and then out to California. So those Midwestern states, I feel like you could easily get a flight there for $8-10.
I feel like the black guy who tips needs to be in Detroit. That's what I feel like. I feel like there's a podcast episode to be made about the black guy who tips in Detroit. I feel that in my spirit. I feel that in my spirit.
You feel it in your soul?
Yeah. To be like Ryan whispering on the mic, like, y'all, we in Detroit.
That'll be the whole podcast. Be like, hey, y'all, we come from Detroit. We ain't gonna be too loud because our equipment might be slow. We just gonna let y'all know we safe. And if we don't do our show tomorrow, y'all come looking out for us.
Right. AdamandEve.com, y'all. Peace out.
I know. That's how the whole thing. That's how the whole show would go.
So let me just close with a couple of extra remaining comments we have. I don't know her name online, but her first name is Michelle, so I don't want to say her full name. She said, "Did your parents watch MASH? There was a character called Hot Lips." I'm pretty sure her parents did not call her Hot Lips.
I know my mama doesn't know that I wrote Hot Lips on this album. I know she didn't see that. I know she didn't, because this album wouldn't exist anymore if she knew that.
It wouldn't survive. Hot Lips. Who's Hot Lips?
Right. Hustle said he lives downtown Silver Spring. He can walk to Red Lobster and Chick-fil-A. Actually, yeah. So I'm in Columbia, the Howard County, Anne Arundel County area, and we have several situations where I can go from one to the other. So while it may not happen tomorrow, it probably will happen sometime this week, and I will report the delectable goodness that is that cheddar biscuit and Chick-fil-A chicken. Cupcake also makes vodka. This is true.
Really?
Yes, they do. And Hustle also wanted to share that his first kiss in 6th grade was while dancing to a New Edition song at the graduation dance. I had lunch with that chick at Essence a couple weeks ago. I am not a jerk at all, says he as he walks back his jerk philosophy. Fine.
You can't walk it out. You can't walk it out, Hustle Crow. You put it out there. You can't walk it out.
Same young lady whose first name is Michelle, she said that her first concert was Kool and the Gang and the Gap Band. Yes, I'm old. Well, there's no judgment here because I remember going to the concert where they sang "Love Is a House, You Got the Key," and they jiggled the keys, and I was with my mom, her best friend, her best friend's daughter, and her best friend's niece. I remember that like it was yesterday. I remember what I had on. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so we're going to go ahead and close this out because we are 44 minutes over our typical time limit.
It's our longest episode ever.
Longest episode ever. We've got Chatty Cathy, Chatty Ken, Chatty Patty, all here representing, giving you guys a full...
And Chatty Chiquita from Detroit.
See, now what you're doing? You're doing a lot.
She doing too much, Smart. Go ahead and pull the plug on.
I have no wine left. My wine is gone. It's been 2 hours. It's a bottle of wine and it's gone.
So that's called drunk. I think that's the technical term for it. So We're going to go ahead and close out. And again, let me just remind you guys to go ahead on, what is it?
We're about to say Yahoo.
iTunes, iTunes, Stitcher, YouTube, all the interwebs where you can find us. and send us comments and 5-star reviews and, you know, accolades, and tell us how great you are, we are rather, and I mean occasionally how great you are, but less of that. And share with your family, friends, kith and kin, whatever you call them, when you're at the spades game, right before there's about to be a stabbing, just pass them a note that says, "Whiskey, wine, and moonshine." Because we all know stabbings happen at spades games.
That's why I don't play cards with black people.
Okay, everybody, let's say goodbye. Woo!
Bye.
And we're done.